would say with me, it goes back to the very beginning when I opened CBT, and I was raised as a child of education and coaches. So my dad was a coach, my mom was a teacher. And there is nothing more about teams than collaboration. And I was taught that from day one. So it's always been that when I focused on business, when I focused on my career, is a collaboration. You can't go down it by yourself, especially in what we're trying to achieve. So it's always been collaborate, collaborate, collaborate.
Just to play off of what Kelly said, when I first came to CBT, and I think CBT was probably about 5 years old at that, still a baby at that point, I recognized that spirit from the beginning. I recognized that the leadership, Kelly, was always open to other thoughts, other ways of doing things, welcomed other opinions. And it was really very empowering for me as a woman, number one. And I think just for the team across the board.
That is one thing at CBT that I absolutely love, is just all the collaboration. It doesn't matter what level you're at. If you're the receptionist, you're collaborating with everybody in the company. It goes all the way to the CEO, like Tasha was saying. It just is very empowering. And I think we really focus on teaching our employees the same thing, our coworkers. And we really push that as leaders.
At our very core, we are a collaborative company, in that the meaning of collaboration is bringing people, entities, whatever they are, together and bringing their expertise to the table. So as a systems integrator, we bring the world's best technology together and collaborate and come up with great solutions. And it's only through bringing all of those people to the table that you can arrive at almost a better solution. As Kelly said, you can't do it as one. You need different perspectives. And so at our very core, we also find that that's what's missing from other companies, is that people bring their expertise, but they don't have the can-do, right? And that's where our can-do attitude comes into play.
We were talking about his football team. And that's when in the NFL and some others, and he wasn't an NFL coach, he was a college coach. But what we would sit there and talk about was superstars. You know, there was always teams that had this big superstar. And what he did is he said, Kelly, it's great to have a superstar. It's great to have somebody that's so knowledgeable about something. He goes, but if that person isn't a team member, a contributing team member, and he didn't say collaborate, I doubt he said collaborate, but, you know, work with, play with, be part of the team, then they're not worth having. Because just having a superstar by themselves without being part of that team and knowing how to work with that team and engage with that team and be open to other opinions, it's a detriment.
It's like, what has the last year taught us? And that is, stop, come back in. You've got too many things going on. So now you're forced to be here at home. I can't do everything now. I can't travel. I can't go everywhere. I can't be everything to everyone. And I realized I didn't want to be either, because I really wasn't all that great at it. So now I actually have the opportunity to be great at it. I know what my core is. I know who my people are. I know what's really important to me. And I'm getting better at the things that I am doing, because I can't distract myself with everything. So that's actually really been a blessing in disguise from a personal aspect.
When you recognize that you're giving everything to everything else except yourself, right? So at some point, I think every woman has to stop and just stand in her shoes and say, okay, wait, what's happening here, right? And kind of take back your own stuff, all of it, professionally, personally, psychologically. We got to take back our own stuff.
Getting back into our zone, getting back into what's most important. Like Tasha said, I've given 30 years of my life to my business. And because I was the creator, I took that responsibility even when I worked for others. And 2020 allowed me a big reset to focus on family, focus on things that I hadn't spent the time to focus on, and to really figure out what's most important to me. And to also understand that I have a great team at CBT that I can depend on, so that I can take that time to go do other things.
was really the lack of respect in a room. So first of all, whenever I walked into a room, I was probably, if not the only woman, maybe one of two or three. And to add to that, I was definitely the only woman of color. So just to gain any respect, it was always, I felt like I always had to do double duty. I always had to work twice as hard. I also had to learn when to shut up and when to not say anything, right? Because sometimes it's a trap. It's a trap. So I mean, we really had to learn to navigate the table.
You know, there's times that you think you're working really hard, you're doing a good job, and you know, then you hear through the grapevine that people are saying things, you know, that person that you work for is saying things about you. And I think the choice that you make, whether you stay there or you leave, defines, you know, how you're going to handle things. And I think too, it's knowing that it's okay to make mistakes, and because that's how you learn from them. The key is learn from your mistake.
If you lose your reputation, even if you didn't know for certain, but you had that inkling that, no, that probably isn't just right. You know, if it sounds too good, it is, and there's something behind it. If you lose your reputation, if it's scarred at all, getting it back is 10x, 100x. It will take forever. I could have built out my company a lot faster than I did, but I refused to go down a path that I didn't feel was the right path to go down. And to this day, I'm happy about that. Coming back in contact with people you haven't seen for 20, 25 years. So you can certainly make mistakes, and God knows I made plenty of mistakes, but I learned from them. I really learned from them. And I made sure that I didn't scar my reputation or CBT's, and that we were really careful about what we did and who we joined partnership with.
As a young woman, I wasn't confident in what I knew. And then so sometimes that kind of derailed me. But we have to know what we know, open to hearing other thoughts, open to learning from your mistakes, knowing that you're going to make mistakes, but confidence in knowing what you know, that's a big that's a big deal. It can hold you back if you don't.
Many women, myself included, have had the experience when they're younger and just getting started out. That sometimes there's almost this amazement of, how did I end up here? Why did they pick me, right? And there's been a lot written about this phenomena, right? This is very well known. But I really had to get to the point where I believed that I had every right. In fact, I had earned the right to be there. And that seems to be really pivotal for young women.
And I was going to say that, you know, my mom told me when I was very young, she said, as a girl, you're going to be put into situations where, and so this, you know, as it comes from integrity, Kelly, is not only doing what's right, but also sort of lead with your belly. It's not your heart always, right? Because the heart often gets us into trouble, but our belly tells us, Kelly, you trust yourself. And we have a beautiful company filled with beautiful people who all do the right thing and, you know, back you 100% for doing that. And those that don't, you know, they go. And that's okay, because this is who we are is one of our core values. You see it behind you. It's winning with honesty and integrity. Absolutely, down to our core.
Bringing females into STEM and workforce development, because that's what we need. So I'm hoping by then that's what I will be doing.
A professional woman is not an anomaly. I almost wish that we don't have to have an International Women's Day.
But we've done so much even in just the last 10 years and the 10 years before that. And I really do think that that what you're saying, Tasha, is going to be true. And I do feel like it's changed a lot today. I mean, you do look at the landscape and look at our leadership, our company's leadership it's already changing.
You know, my wish is that, you know, we've made such headway as women in business, but now it's kind of women tearing down other women. And I really hope that just goes away, because there's no need. We've earned the right to be here, and everyone has earned the right to be here. And why tear each other down, you know, when we should all be in this together.
The hope for
Absolutely.
2031 is that everybody shares in this core CBT value of collaborative can-do attitude. So we are years ahead, but we hope everybody catches up to us.
Yes,
So
Yes.
nice.
fantastic discussion, ladies. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your time. And everybody, happy International Women's Day 2021.